Hi, so welcome. This is the Magic Millions Gold Coast Yearling sale post-sale review from Racing Squared. So we're going to look at what happened in the market at the sale and kind of take some key findings and learnings from that. Start off with some market dynamics, kind of what was at play in terms of trends in the market, where the money was going, distribution, cross size, cross vendors, etc. The top end of the market was really strong. So we saw 3 lots kind of bust through the previous purchase price paid record. It's paid for an I'm Invincible Colt back at the sale in 2018, Colt called Ferretti. And we saw 3 lots. I Invincible, Anahid 606, 2.7 million Tom Magnier, Zoostar Solar Charge 2.6 million Yearling, I Am Invincible Booker 2.5 million Kieran Maher Racing. I mean, just indications that the market continues to get stronger and stronger. And if you want to get your hands on elite bloodstock, you do have to pay for it. I do think it's interesting to go and look at what happened to that previous purchase. There's Ferretti, I'm Invincible, Tess, career high rating 76, currently rated 74, has returned 179,000 in prize money. If you spend a lot of money, it does tend to tip the odds in your favor about getting elite race horses, but it isn't a guarantee. So just because people are spending in excess of $1 million doesn't necessarily mean they'll get guaranteed returns on the track. We did some analysis and we looked from this sale, Magic Millions Gold Coast Yearling sale, kind of what then happened in terms of subsequent racetrack outcomes, and they see it by price band. I mean, if you want a group winner, and if you're probably trying to make a stallion or something like that, I mean, your conversion rate there is you've spent over $1 million on 47 yearlings since 2015, that is, and 4 of them have been group winners. That's 8.51%. You see that you're getting returns again for 8.51% stakes winners. Probably the threshold below is probably where I prefer. You're probably overpaying a little bit for elite pedigrees at that top echelon. And you probably, money becomes a little bit of no object to some of the players in the market. And I still think you can get a decent amount of value in that $500 to $999,000 mark. I mean, you've got 10.2% return on stakes winners. So 29 stakes winners from 284 purchases. So that's the price bracket that I would be looking for nice types in. But as you see, I mean, this is the dynamic of the bloodstock market. It's very hard to find elite racehorses, and we should really celebrate it when we do. The average sale price, or the mean sale price, remained consistent. I mean, it was strong. I mean, it was spectacular in 2022. Jumped up to 292,000, way up from 2021. And I mean, it held consistent in 2023. If you look at the trend line, take out 2022, you kind of see a linear trend line going upwards. So I mean, for me, it's ongoing reinforcement about strength of the bloodstock market, consistency of the bloodstock market, if using mean as the main kind of measure of success or health. Looking at the median maybe paints a slightly different picture, but perhaps not as negative as it looks on first glance. Again, look at 2022. I mean, it's a massive outlier. You've got a median there across book 1 and book 2 Magic Millions Gold Coast, $230,000, and it's dropped to 210 in 2023. But if you look at the rolling 3-year median and the rolling 5-year median, again, it's a kind of linear line going upwards and kind of consolidating up on that upward curve. So I also wouldn't be too concerned about it. Clearance rate dropped. Now, you might be concerned about that. I mean, it dropped to 89.5% from the 22 high of 93.6%. It probably only actually dropped to normal levels. It was a pretty standard clearance rate. So again, it just, on all of those metrics, 2022 just seems like a massive outlier, and from a positive sense, in the same way that it was probably for bloodstock sales worldwide. It was the same in the northern hemisphere, but it's kind of gone back to the 2017 to 2021 norm levels in terms of clearance rate. So not excellent, but also not bad, pretty much on point and on average. A couple of things there. I mean, I don't know if you can see it, but I just like the graphic. So that is price distributions per sire. I mean, what we see there is we see I Am Invincible sitting there with the highest median sales price by sire. I mean, just continues to reinforce that he's effectively Australia's favourite sire at the moment. He's probably got a couple more years at the top level to go in the market as well. He's 18 at the moment, and certainly can sustain that for another couple of years and another couple of crops until his 20-year-old production season. You see the distributions there. I mean, the dots at the top, I mean, they're I Am Invincible lots. The one that's slightly above the 5 I Am Invincible lots is an Exceeding XL purchase. The dots nearer the middle in the lower half, there's Zoostar. If anyone looks like the heir apparent at the moment, which is required because the elite sires in the southern hemisphere are certainly not getting any younger and are approaching the twilight and the thresholds of their career. I mean, Zoostar is the one, and yeah, a lot of market support, and we'll see it in a coming chart that continues a positive trend upwards in the southern hemisphere. And in a side comment, you can probably just get a plane to the northern hemisphere and pay half what you would pay in the southern hemisphere, and even with transport and shipping costs back, you could probably make a net profit. So don't know if you're that way inclined. If you want to buy elite Zoostar stock, you could just get up to the northern hemisphere and buy them, and you'd probably still be at net positive, I would say, after, even if you've accounted travel and shipping and input costs and that type of stuff. This is an interesting one. This is the price distribution between Colts and Fillies, and it's just a really good market and strong market for Fillies at the moment. I mean, the distribution of purchase prices is remarkably similar. I mean, you've got a $170,000 medium for Colts, you've got a $170,000 medium for Fillies, you've got a first quartile of $80,000 for Colts, $85,000 for Fillies, and an upper quartile of $300,000 for Colts and $300,000 for Fillies. So, but I mean, compare that to what the market would have looked like 5 years ago, 10 years ago. I mean, absolutely across the sectors, they're totally on an even keel, and just shows filtering through in yearling sales the impact that high demand in broodmare sales and broodmare purchases is having on shaping the market for high quality fillies through all of the levels. So you expect that to continue to stabilize and continue to grow. So if you're getting fillies, then from a commercial sense, you're in an optimal market to leverage that at the moment. It's a bit messy, that one, but that's price distributions by vendor. We've got a bit of a better one coming later that shows which vendor take up kind of which proportion of market share. Here we go, market share by sire. It's aimed to show the kind of distribution of the spend across all of the sires at the sale. I mean, what you see there is, I mean, I Am Invincible took out 13.32% of the market, or of the spend, on his own, reinforcing kind of all the positives on some of those previously mentioned metrics. I mean, Zoostar was the next highest at 7.75%. I mean, almost half. So from a commercial perspective, I Am Invincible is just totally dominant. You probably take, if you look at those top 6 sires, you're taking out about, is it approaching 45% of the market, 40% of the market, between 40 and 45% of the market. Kind of those elite sires are kind of capturing the spend. So if you're kind of selling in the thinner end of the tail, I mean, it's getting more difficult for you. Again, with all of these type of things, various power laws, it probably makes sense. But yeah, just to know that a small number of sites take away a large proportion of commercial revenue in the hands of buyers at the sale. Market share by vendor. I mean, the distribution isn't quite as weighted towards the left-hand side. It's a bit more evenly spread. But again, when you look at then the share of some of the vendors there, the top 5 vendors have captured 25% of the spend from the overall market. And what I haven't even done there is I haven't included partnerships. So that's only kind of unique vendor sales. So when I don't know, Newgate are offering as an agent on behalf of someone, that's not captured. That's probably captured as a singular entity further down. I might change that in the future if I work out a better way to handle it, but at the moment that's kind of Newgate or Arrowfield or Colmore consigning their own stock, not necessarily acting as an agent for others. So main things there, upper limit of the market remains very strong. There's probably a slight price squeeze in the middle and lower part of the market. I mean, that's impacting the kind of adjustment to normal of the median, the adjustment to normal of the clearance rate. If you look at it kind of year on year, it probably looks bad because it looks like a downward turn. But if you put it in the context of 3-year rolling averages or trends or 5-year rolling averages or trends, it's just kind of an ongoing consolidation and general positive incline upwards. As we saw, power size absolutely dominated market share. Vendor distribution was spread a little bit more out, but dominant farms took out 25% of the spend. A little bit on sires, so spotlights on kind of maybe some of them more higher profile sires or leading commercial sires and how they've done. And this is the average mean kind of purchase price, sales price by some key sires kind of since Yearling started to be offering by them. I think we start there in 2007 with Exceed and Excel going all the way back there, and then you've got kind of like Fastnet kicking in, Snitzel kicking in, etc., etc. I mean, what we see is, I mean, if you look down the bottom, you can see, I mean, I'm Invincible from kind of a modest start, really. First 2 yearling crops offered at the sale has then just been on a exponential curve upwards, really just strengthening year on year since 2017. Zoostar's on a similar exponential curve upwards. Probably started from a higher base, was starting at around the kind of $250,000 mean sales price mark, and I'm Invincible is probably starting from $110,000 mean sales price mark, but incline and the slope is massive, and as I say, probably the heir apparent. Exceed and Excel really bounced back after maybe a quieter 5 years, kind of in the in overall kind of average spend and average purchase price. I find it quite interesting. Got some stats on that coming later on. Surprises me a little bit. And maybe some of those higher purchases, of course, are pulling that up. Snitzel took a slight turn downwards. Might be because of age. Starting, as I mentioned, starting to reach kind of twilight of stallion career, perhaps. Don't know how price sensitive the market is to stallion age. I mean, look, Exceed and Excel is their 3rd highest on the list, but could be a consideration. I mean, Fastnet's also not getting any younger, and he's also up there in the upper echelons of the list as well. I mean, one remarkable success story is really written Tycoon, just a sire that's just kind of started off from humble beginnings, and this is the kind of light green line that you see at the bottom left, starting 2010, but like really humble beginnings with like a $60,000 average sales price, and now getting up towards, I think that's 390, 380,000 average sales price at Magic Millions. So I mean, it's really just grown and consolidated year on year. I think it was the 2013-14 crop. A lot of stakes winners coming out of that, that's kind of propelled through and has sustained like decent levels since then. So he's a kind of he's probably a case study why you shouldn't write off sires too early from humble commercial beginnings, and over time then they can deliver for you, and the market will then respond and recognize and reward results. Also included a couple of things there. So you think capitalist, deep field, I mean, probably deep field, and they're probably all kind of got similar curves, to be honest with you. So kind of in that next echelon of who's going to fill the gaps if Schnitzel starts to turn down, and in 2 years, if I Am Invincible starts to turn down, the next kind of threshold of size who are going to come through. I mean, there's just trends now by individual sire. It's going to be shared afterwards, so I won't go through all of them. See an Excel kind of bouncing back with a bit of commercial recognition. I thought age was a concern there at 22. I mean, if you look at the last couple of crops, 2 stakes winners in each. I mean, you've never had huge crop sizes, but if you're looking at that 1920 Southern Hemisphere crop, 2 stakes winners coming out of that. If you look at the 2022 crop, imagine that's then a Northern Hemisphere crop, 2 stakes winners coming out of that. Only 4 stakes winners from the last 2 crops. So you're paying a lot of money to find out if you've got one of a very small number of stakes winners that are coming out of those crops. It probably wouldn't be for me. If you look at it, I mean, it's been a fairly, again, it's 5% stakes winners to foals, so it is good and it is above market average. But if you look at it over the full kind of age period and the full sample of crops that you've got there, I mean, it's clearly not at the records that we've seen 16, 17, 14, 15, 12, 13. So yeah, the market's clearly seen something, and I'm often very wrong, but wouldn't be for me anymore at the moment. It's just an ageist concern at 22-year-old. Similar, Fastnet's only a year younger, but still kind of getting fair commercial recognition there. We've talked about I Am Invincible, just incredible slope upwards. Yeah, that's written Tycoon's humble success story. We talked about it. It's the it's these 2 crops really in the middle. It's the 13-14 crop where you've got kind of 6 stakes winners from 82 foals, and then you've got 8 stakes winners from 93 foals in 14-15. That was really the springboard for him to then kind of gain a bit of a commercial foothold, and then just sustaining really. I mean, crop sizes have gone up. Have stakes winners gone up proportionally? No, but you're still getting what you're getting there. Shade 3.8 or something, 4% stakes winners to folds, probably 3.5. It's not bad. And the data source here, Arian Pedigrees, so a great website, so really recommend that. Just really great resource for sales stats and stallion stats, so use that if you don't use it already. Zoostar, the heir apparent, and we see there, I mean, last kind of full Australian crop, 6 stakes winners, 171 foals, already had 1 stakes winner from the current 2-year-old crop. Is it source or something like that. But yeah, also going pretty well. So kind of the Great White Hope at the moment. And just looking at this, hopefully you can see it. It just shows that you've got like I'm Invincible there at 18. You've got Fastnet there at 21. You've got Exceed and Excel there at 22. You've got Snitzel there at 20. Just the elite sires are getting old, and that'll be the fascinating thing for the Australian bloodstock market next couple of years, is who's going to kind of step into that vacuum. It's a bit like the dynamic in the Northern Hemisphere and Europe at the moment. Galileo dominated for so long and now just opens the pathway to Dubawi. Obviously takes the opportunity champion sire for the first time, and then Franco's just going to come along and dominate everywhere as well. So Dubawi managed to sneak in probably for the 1 year, maybe 2, but he's also getting old, and then Franco's going to take over the mantle certainly for the foreseeable future. We looked at first crop sires, how they performed on average sale price. Blue Point did really well. He's a brilliant sprinter up here. And some kind of titanic battles with Batash, who was another one of our good ones. And his yearlings were really well received in Northern Hemisphere yearling sales in the second half of 2022. And were also kind of really well received here as well. And you can see he's kind of topping out. That's then the proportion of kind of performance. He's topping out, is it 300 and something, 357. The text is too small for me to see. $1,000 in terms of performance. I mean, he's well clear of the next couple in Piarata and Too Darn Hot. So just fascinating. I think that people say that they're great athletes, great physicals, and clearly there's something that translates from Northern Hemisphere to some Southern Hemisphere, and it'll be fascinating to see how his progeny and first crop 2-year-olds go on track in the Northern Hemisphere in this year as well, because I said they were very well received on it in the sales ring. Second crop sires, Justify was the leading second crop sire in the sale. He had an average of $318,000, followed by the Autumn Sun second at $263,000, and Trapeze Artist third, $221,500. Again, yeah, Justify's been going pretty well in the US, and I don't know if anyone's won the Ferrari yet, but maybe someone will be claiming the Ferrari in the next 12 to 18 months. Yeah, and that's it. So just a quick review of the bloodstock market, some dynamics and some breakdown based on certain factors. Hope it was interesting and useful, and you can always find me on Twitter at Tom Wilson Horses. Thanks for your time.